Hello everyone, it's Kim and welcome back to my channel and welcome to my September TBR. This TBR is going to be jam-packed. We have 3 separate videos all in one. I have 3 TBRs for you today, starting with my round of the TBR Cafe, and then we'll talk about Seasonathon, which I am hoping to co-host and I'm very excited for, and then we'll get into Magical Readathon. I have a lot of school themed readathons for September, which is fun. I'm gonna be like kind of half in like the human world and then half in a magical one. So let's find out what my personal TBR game has in store first. So let's go ahead and get started with this round of the TBR Cafe. Roll number 1 is gonna be a 5. We're gonna start at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 for a cup of coffee. And it's read a book with stars and moons on the cover. Roll 1 gave me read a book with stars and moons, or stars or moons on the cover. And for that one, I'm going with The Bookbinder's Guide to Love, a Harlequin novel from Catherine Garbera. This just stood out to me at the bookstore. I was shopping around looking and I just read the back of this, read the little synopsis, and it just sounded really cute and heartwarming and maybe a little emotional, and I just thought it sounded really good, and it's a little witchy, it's a little like, gives me those autumn vibes. So here's what it is about, and I think us book lovers will really enjoy it. As a lonely foster kid, Serafina Conte's refuge was hand-making journals and writing her wishes within their pages. Now, in the quirky New Age store she shares with her 2 best friends, Sarah's intentions have paid off. Her journals are in the spotlight and rumored to manifest great things. Whether it's witchy skills, real magic or not, Sarah's finally ready to be the leading lady of her life story, until her plot hits a twist. After the death of her mentor, Ford Sitwell, all the loneliness and insecurity of her past returns. The only balm is the box of antique books he left to her. But Ford's suspicious, brooding grandson Wes is ready to think the worst of her and get his grandfather's books back. The first part doesn't bother her. The second, forget it. Sarah won't give Wes the books so easily, but it's clear he's seeking something more, an emotional connection no book can replace. So she offers a deal. Work at her store for 6 weeks, and in return she'll help him get closure by sharing memories of his late grandfather. Yes, Wes seems grumpy, but actually he's hot and maybe kind, deep down. And when desire and vulnerability work their charms, Sarah begins to wonder if the best stories aren't the ones you intend, but the ones that take you where you least expect it. It sounds good. It sounds cute, and it's obviously going to be a little bit spicy, maybe, hoping. Yeah, so I don't know. I was really drawn to it. It's pretty short. It's only, I think, yeah, it's less than 300 pages. So I think this is like a good kind of segue into some autumn season reads and getting a little more romance on the TBR. Roll number 2 is a 9. It's like, where is the dot? 9. I'll put that over there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 for a cupcake, which is a challenge. So we have start and finish a series. Oh my goodness. Roll 2. Let's talk about roll 2. Start and finish a series. Thanks, TBR game. This is what I really needed this month, where I could have used a win. But that's okay, because this is my TBR game, so I'm going to finagle the prompt just a little bit. So I am breaking apart these 2 prompts, and I'm going to be finishing a series and starting a new one. I know that isn't quite what the prompt was meant to be, but for my purposes for this year and these 2 upcoming readathons I have as well, it's gonna have to do. So I'm gonna be starting with the series I'm gonna be finishing. The series I will be finishing this month is Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. I reread Kingdom of the Wicked last month in July, and I loved it. It was as fabulous as I remember it, and I don't want to leave it there because I do own the last 2 books, and I just want to go ahead and finish the series because I'm very excited once again to find out what happens. So we got Kingdom of the Cursed, which is book 2, as well as Kingdom of the Feared. And I'm very excited. I am not going to read you what these two are about because, of course, that is some massive spoilers, and I don't want to spoil myself either because I want to go into these books completely blind because I'm just really excited about them. I will probably be doing a kind of immersion read and listening to these on audio as well because I really did enjoy the narrator for the audiobooks. So I will be finishing off this series with these two books. Roll number 3 is an 11. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 for another cup of coffee. So we will be reading a book with a person on the cover. Roll 3 gave me read a book with a person on the cover, so I am pulling back to roll 1 and also grabbing the Bookbinder's Guide to Love for this prompt as well. We have our 2 main characters here on the cover of this beautifully illustrated edition that we have here. And yeah, I was going to try to go for like real person on the cover, but not this month. Not this month. We are going for some illustrations here. So we got our 2 main characters, we got people on the cover, Bookbinder's Guide to Love once again on the TBR. Roll number 4 is going to be a 4 for 1, 2, 3, and 4 for another cupcake. It's all about the coffee and cupcakes today. Project Zero TBR blind date with a book. And finally, roll 4 gave us Project Zero TBR blind date with a book. So let's go ahead and roll the footage of me choosing this book. All right, so I am choosing my blind date with a book. I wrapped up these books ages ago. It's probably been over a year. I wrapped up 50% of my TBR so I wouldn't be overwhelmed. So these have been sitting in my closet in tote bags. So I chose one that had a very small amount in it. There are 12 books here. I'm gonna roll a d12 and we're gonna see which one I'm gonna read for my blind date with a book. So here we go. And it's gonna be book 2. So contemplating 1, 2 mystery and thriller. 1, 2 we just have fiction. Do I know what kind of fiction? Absolutely not. So do we go mystery thriller or do we go like fiction? I don't remember what any of these books are. I think I don't know. They both. Oh, this one's a hardcover. Interesting. We're gonna go mystery thriller. That's technically book 2 from the left, so we're gonna go that way. All right, I'm too good at wrapping, so I went ahead and just undid the edges so I could open it easier. And I'm gonna be reading The Murder Bag by Toni Parsons. For Blind Date with a Book, I got The Murder Bag by Toni Parsons. I have had this book for ages. I'm pretty sure I actually bought it the same time it came out, which was back in 2014. And the reason I know that I bought it around the same time was because the reason I bought this book was that my mom and I were on a trip to London and this book was plastered in so many places in the London Underground that I was like, you know what? I feel like I need to read this book now. Like, it was just in my face constantly on that trip. And so we decided to grab it. I don't remember which actual bookstore I got it from. I think it was in the mall. I'm not sure if it was, I don't know. It was a long time ago. But I'm pretty sure I did buy it right then and there that trip. And so I will be reading The Murder Bag, and this is what this one is about. There's a serial killer on the loose. He roams the streets of London, cutting the throats of the rich and powerful. No one knows who he is or how to stop him until now. Detective Max Wolfe has recently arrived in the Homicide Division of London's West End Central. Soon he is following the bloody trail from the back streets and bright lights of the city to the darkest corners of the internet and all the way to the corridors of power. As the bodies pile up, Max finds the killer's reach getting ever closer. Soon he is fighting not only for justice, but also for his own life. Yes. And this also leads into me going back to roll 2, this is a series, so I will be starting this series and reading this one for that prompt as well. So there's where this one tied in and why I kind of kept the other half of that prompt for later. So this will be my blind date with a book pick from my TBR, as well as the start a series prompt for my start and finish a series Project Zero TBR. Okay, so 4 books on the TBR from the TBR Cafe. Let's go ahead and get into what I'll be reading for Seasonathon Academy. It's time to share my schedule for Seasonathon Academy. Let me know if you're taking any of the same classes and what you are reading as well for those. I want to see if we're reading the same books or maybe we're switching it up and reading some different ones. Let me know. I want to know what your classes are like too. My first class on the schedule is English 2010, and this is to read any book at all and post or write a review for it. And for this one, I'm going with our group book, which is going to be The Obsidian Tower by Melissa Caruso. We are doing the live show with the author on September 21st at 8 p.m. Eastern. So if you are reading along with us, don't miss out. Mark your calendars. It's going to be a great time. So I'm very excited for this one. I did not know of this book before Melanie told us that this was going to be the group pick, and it sounds amazing. So here's what it's about. Guard the tower, ward the stone. Find your answers writ in bone. Keep your trust through wits or war. Nothing must unseal the door. Deep within Glomingard Castle lies a black tower. Sealed by ancient magic, it guards a dangerous secret that has been contained for thousands of years. As warden, Rixander knows the warning passed down through generations. Nothing must unseal the door. But one impetuous decision will leave her with blood on her hands and unleash a threat that could doom the world to fall to darkness. It's such a strong, synopsis that it makes me very curious on what's going on. What did she do? What did she do to unleash darkness? I have to know. The Obsidian Tower by Melissa Caruso is my pick for English 2010. My next class is English 2130, which is to read an American classic or choose an American banned book. I'm going for an American classic, and I'm going for one of my favorite classics, and that is a reread of The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. I don't know why I'm looking at the cover like I need to know what the name or the author. I love this book. I'm very excited. This is the copy from high school. I'm pretty sure, I don't know, did I write in this one? Oh, I have some annotations in it. So that'll be interesting. There's probably not a lot, but I do have some little squiggles here and there. So that'll be fun. From where I obviously thought something was important for whatever paper I had to write for this book. But I have read this since then, and it's one of my favorites. So I thought it's perfect. It's a short book, so it's going to get me really quickly through this class, and I wouldn't mind rereading it again, and then perhaps maybe having a little movie night and watching the movie to go with it. So Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald is my pick for an American classic for English 2130. My next class is Chemistry 1110, which is General Chemistry 1, and this is to read a romance and write a review. So for this one, I have gone with The Bookbinder's Guide to Love by Catherine Garbera once again. It's a romance. We know it's going to be fun. What else do I need to say? But I, of course, am trying to keep this TBR as short as possible with all the prompts that I have to complete. So, Bookbinder's Guide to Love is my pick for Chemistry 1110. My next class is Geography 1030, and this one is to read a book that does not take place in the US or the UK. And I thought long and hard about these. It took me a minute to figure out how this was going to work with some of my other picks, and I finally decided to stick with a romance book and go with 365 Days by Blanka Lipinska. I hope I'm saying the author's name correctly. This is a kind of dark romance. I believe it's mafia, crime family, mafia, yeah. So, this has been on my TBR before. I feel like maybe a year or two ago I had this on some TBR. I have not yet read it. I know that there is a movie to go with it. So maybe once again, I will watch the movie once I finish the book. And yeah, so if you do not know, this is what this one's about. Laura Beale, her boyfriend, and 2 friends are on a dream vacation in beautiful Sicily. On the second day of their trip, her 29th birthday, she is kidnapped. Her kidnapper is none other than the head of a powerful Sicilian crime family, the incredible handsome young Don Massimo Torricelli, who is determined that he will possess this woman at all costs. Massimo has his reasons. After an earlier attempt on his life, he almost died, and during this crisis, a vision appeared before his eyes, a beautiful woman identical to Laura. He survived that attack, vowing to himself that he would find the woman he had seen while near death and make her his own, no matter what. For 365 days, Massimo will keep Laura captive in his palatial estate and attempt to win her heart. If she doesn't fall in love with him during this time, he'll let her go. But if she tries to escape at any point, he will track her down and kill her entire family. Soon, Laura develops a fascination with her handsome and powerful captor, but as a precarious, risky relationship forms between them, forces outside their control threaten to tear them apart. So very much a dark romance, and I'm very excited to read this. I think it'll be a fun read throughout the month. I feel like it will also be a quick read, which I definitely need. So 365 days. And I'll probably also watch the movie, of course. So this is my pick for Geography 1030. And my final class for this round of Seasonathon Academy is going to be Foreign Language 3120, and that is to read a translated book. So for this one, this may be noticeable for anyone who watched last month's TBR, but I will be reading The Full Moon Coffee Shop by Mai Mochizuki, translated by Jesse Kirkwood. Now, I did already read what this one was about, and I will read it again for this video, but I did not get to this book this month because I had some other books that I finished, and when I went back for this one for the ARC, I just realized it would work better with the few of the prompts that I have this month, and so I just decided to wait. And I also decided to pick up a physical copy of it because I have a feeling this is going to be a 4 or 5 star. I don't want to get my hopes up too much because the synopsis just sounds amazing and I'm really excited for it, and I don't want to be let down in case it's not as good as I'm hoping, so I'm saying 4 or 5. I'm gonna leave it there. But Full Moon Coffee Shop is translated work. This is what it's about for those who did not see last month's video, because it just sounds so good. It sounded so good that I didn't realize that I stopped filming. So hi, future Kim here to read the synopsis of The Full Moon Coffee Shop for you. In Japan, cats are a symbol of good luck. As the myth goes, if you are kind to them, they'll one day return the favor. And if you are kind to the right cat, you might just find yourself invited to a mysterious coffee shop under a glittering Kyoto moon. This particular coffee shop is like no other. It has no fixed location and no fixed hours, and it seemingly appears at random. It's also run by talking cats. While customers at the Full Moon Coffee Shop partake of cakes and coffees and teas, the cats also consult their star charts, offering cryptic wisdom and letting them know where their lives veered off course. Every person who visits the coffee shop has been feeling more than a little lost. For a down-on-her-luck screenwriter, a romantically stuck movie director, a hopeful hairstylist, and a technologically challenged web designer, the coffee shop's feline guides will set them back on their fated paths. For there is a very special reason the shop appeared to each of them. Now back to your past programming. Now, the magical readathon. I am heading back to Aurelium Academy for the autumn equinox. Someone help me. How am I supposed to balance these 2 semesters? I need portals, I need traveling between worlds, I need a time turner. I don't know how this is going to happen, but I did use some of my points from the Guild Emporium and bought a few things that will help me along the way. So I do want to say, starting off, I did purchase a Scroll of Scholarly Power, which lets me use books from multiple prompts. Thank goodness, because I'm going to need it. So I am going for Star Whisperer. This is the first year that I will have actually hopefully completed both semesters so I can get my novice in and being a Star Whisperer, which is very exciting. So here we go. I need 8 books, or 8 prompts. There's going to be less than 8 books. Fingers crossed. So first up, I need to take Art of Illusion, and I need a grade of an O. So for this one, for the first prompt, it is a random emoji generator, and I decided to do this, and so let's roll the tape and see which one I got. So for emoji generator, I got an unlocked lock. And honestly, I wasn't 100% sure where I was going to go with this. I was like, how how am I going to make an unlocked lock make sense for a prompt? And I was thinking maybe like something that's like lock in a title, or I don't know. So I went very simple. Locks are shiny. They're made of metal. And this one kind of is like gold and silver in the emoji. So you know what? Metallic cover, shiny cover. And for that, I was able to fit Kingdom of the Curse by Carrie Maniscalco. It is shiny. There is some shimmer. There is some shimmer happening. And so for that, that is what we're going with. We're going with like a metallic shiny cover. So I was able to fit Kingdom of the Curse by Carrie Maniscalco for my Art of Illusion class. And this will give me that class and I'll be finished with that section of Magical Readathon. My next class that I need to take is Astronomy, and I need a grade of D for Distinguished, which means I need to read the 3 prompts. All 3 of them. This is where I may have took another trip to the Guild Emporium, and for my first class I have switched it from a book release during the month. I have headed down to the first for the O prompt for Artificery, and I will be doing Book with a Cover Color of Your Birthstone. And for that one I picked, who guessed it, The Bookbinder's Guide to Love. My birthstone is Amethyst. I was born in February, so purple book, Bookbinder's Guide to Love. We had to get it on all 3 TBRs, so very short, very sweet. It'll be getting me that first grade that I need for astronomy. To get my qualified level in astronomy, I need to read a book with the castle on a cover, and that was perfect for the Obsidian Tower. I got this one on too. So far so good on not adding any new books to the TBR. So the Obsidian Tower will help me as well as I am going through my astronomy class. And my final prompt for astronomy was to roll a d6 and use the number that I got to decide my page numbers of the book. So here's what I got there. Okay, this roll is for Magical Readathon and the dice prompt. So we roll a d6 to see how many pages I have to read. All right, and we got a 4. As you can see, I rolled a 4 for this prompt. So I need a book that is between 401 and 500 pages. And do you know what book happens to be exactly 401 pages, at least for the story portion of the book? Well, that would be Kingdom of the Feared by Carrie Maniscalco. I was able to pick this one out for this prompt, which means I do not have to add a brand new book to my TBR quite yet. So, Kingdom of the Feared will be helping me to finish out the 3rd book that I need to get my distinguished grade in astronomy. The next class for my Star Whisperer calling is Lore, and for this one I need a grade of O for Ordinary, which means I just need to read 1 prompt. And my first prompt for that will be a vampire. My first and only prompt for that will be a vampire book. And for that I am going with Kingdom of the Feared by Carrie Maniscalco. I'm not going to say too much. I did some digging, and I feel like some characters are going to be in this one that might have made an appearance in Kingdom of the Wicked, but I'm going to leave it at that so as not to spoil it too much. But this book, I believe, will work for a vampire book. So my final class that I need is Psionics and Divination, and for this I need a grade of Distinguished, which means all 3 prompts, 3 books. And for the first book, I may have made a trip back to the Guild Emporium for another scroll of exchange, and I decided to exchange the prompt of reading your fave author's debut. I'm heading down to the Restoration class and reading their O-level book, which is to read a book with a night sky on the cover. So for this one, I am reading The Full Moon Coffee Shop by Mai Mochizuki. There is very much a night sky on this cover. We have a full moon here, we have some stars, and it's very like blue, black theme here on this cover as well. And so the Full Moon Coffee Shop will help me to complete my O-level book for my Psionics and Divination, even though technically I'm going to be taking Restoration. This book also leads into the next prompt that I need for Psionics and Divination, which is to read a book with a title that has the same letter 4 or more times in it. And we got the Full Moon Coffee Shop. We got moon with 2 O's, coffee has 1, and shop has 1, which means there are 4 O's in this title. So I'll be actually reading this for the first 2 prompts of Psionics and Divination. I'm so glad I haven't had to add a book. Let's fingers crossed I don't have to add any new books at all to this TBR. my final prompt for Psionics and Divination and my final prompt for the Magical Readathon is to pick a tarot card, use a random generator, and find a book that is based on that tarot card. So this is what my random tarot card is. All right, I got the Fool, and that card has a meaning of new beginnings. And so for that one, I'm going with The Murder Bag by Tony Parsons. It's the first in a series, and also right on the back it says, Detective Max Wolf has recently arrived in the Homicide Division of London's West End Central. So, new beginning for our main character, new series for me. It's just the perfect combination to match up with the Fool tarot card. So, Murder Bag by Tony Parsons is my final book for my Magical Readathon TBR. And this is my TBR for Magical Readathon. So I did have 8 prompts, and I managed 6 books, and I didn't have to add any new books to the TBR. I was able to use books from the previous 2 TBRs to fulfill everything. The sigh of relief, I tell you. But now let's do a once over of all the books on all 3 TBRs. Future Kim here once again to do my Patreon pick for the month. I was just so excited with all of these readathons that I completely forgot about the TBR Acorn, which is a very important fun part of my TBR. So, TBR Acorn, we have one more book to pick. Here we go. Let's go with this one. And the bookshelf and book on the shelf will be, if I can get it open, Shelf 6, Book of 16, and this is the pick that Tina put into the TBR Acorn. So let's see what book it's going to be. We have Shelf 16 right here. We got kind of a mix. There's a little bit of fantasy, a little bit of fiction. Let's see what it's going to be. So we're going to start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. What are the odds? The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. All right, so the TBR Acorn chose The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. And you may have been hearing me say that, what are the odds? This was actually an option for my Seasonathon book for a classic, American classic or an American banned book. So, Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood has made its way on the TBR anyway. Alright, I'm going to try to be quick before I drop everything. So, final TBR for the month of September that encompasses all prompts are Kingdom of the Cursed and Kingdom of the Feared by Carrie Maniscalco. We have The Murder Bag by Tony Parsons, The Obsidian Tower by Melissa Caruso, 365 Days by Blanca Lapinska, The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald, The Bookbinder's Guide to Love by Catherine Garbera, and finally The Full Moon Coffee Shop by Mai Mochizuki. Whew! All those were quite a mouthful. Anyway, this is my TBR for September. I hope you all are excited for your September reads as much as I am. Let me know if you are participating in any of the readathons, Seasonathon Academy or Magical Readathon, or is there any readathons that I might not know of that you're participating in? Let me know. Don't forget to give this video a like and leave me a comment letting me know what you are reading this month. If you just want to let me know that you are here, leave a coffee cup emoji as usual. And if you want to see more of my face on your feed, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I very much appreciate every single one of my subscribers, and I would love to have you join this little corner of the internet that I have. So I wish you all a very happy reading month in September, and I will see you all soon in a new video. And so until then, happy reading and take care, everyone. Bye.